The first big update of Madden 23 is finally here, and we've got a whole lot to cover. Now, we did get a small update a week ago that was more of an emergency update, but this right here was the first official planned update. There's tons of gameplay changes, fixes for franchise mode, face of the franchise, most of the new alternate helmets are in the game, player likeness updates have happened, and more. Also, for those that are interested, I do have an NBA 2K channel that I recently started, and 2K23 just dropped today, so I'm gonna have tons of videos over there. The channel name is up on the screen if you want to check it out. So let's get into this title update. Man, this is a massive update. I'm probably gonna actually make 2 videos to break it down because there's just that much to go over. The second video, I'll go through all of the player likeness stuff and show off all of the new helmets and stuff like that. In this video, I'm going to focus more on the gameplay and mode updates. So let's start with the gameplay updates. They did a lot of stuff to the offensive line. Will it actually make the O-line better? I don't know until I play it, but this is what they did. They did tuning the pass block handoff logic to allow pass blockers to hand off rushers to adjacent pass blockers during a defensive shed move attempt when targeting a separate rusher. They fixed an issue allowing a specific shed move to be too powerful and too frequent by user-controlled pass rushers. That was an actual user pass rush glitch that was starting to get popular. Glad they jumped on that because that was super annoying. As far as the pass block handoff, I'm assuming that should help with some of the looping and edge pressure, but again, until I actually test it, I can't just assume this is going to work knowing EA. They did some tuning to run blocker pursuit to improve the blocking path against user-controlled defenders to better pick up user linebackers stacking behind defensive lines and shooting gaps. They also did tuning to pass block movement to make pass blockers commit sooner to rushers moving near the line of scrimmage at the snap. This tuning should reduce linemen from taking themselves out of position to block blitzers and provide better prediction for the movement direction of the rushers. So it sounds like they're trying to nerf some of the user gap shooting against the run, but I don't think that's really possible. People are going to always figure out how to shoot the gaps. And as far as rushers moving near the line of scrimmage, again, this could be something to do with some of the edge heat, but we'll see when we test it. Really quickly, if you're enjoying this video and you don't want to miss out on all the latest Madden news all year long, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on. We're also going to be getting a ton of information on the new NCAA football game that drops soon and the upcoming arcade NFL 2K game, so if you don't want to miss that info either, it's good to be subbed up. They did tuning to improve pass block prediction to better anticipate the direction of the rusher when coming out of their stance and or moving very slowly. They fixed an issue allowing the tight end to be assigned incorrect hot routes after using specific pre-snap motions and bunch formations. So they've tried to nerf max protect blocking in bunch to keep people from using it, so instead they gave the tight end wide receiver hot routes since in the bunch formation he is more of a receiver in his stance, but if you did a certain motion you could still get him to block. Not that it mattered because tight end blocking is not really that great this year anyway, and in fact the tight end actually having wide receiver hot routes makes the formation better, which is what they were trying to do the opposite of, so they kind of failed in that, but you can no longer block the tight end after the motion when you use gun bunch now. They did tuning to reduce the match distance on blow up blocker interactions for user controlled defenders. This is another thing that was allowing some of the user D-line rushers to instantly win all the time. They did tuning to ball carrier skill moves to reduce drastic changes in speed. I'm assuming this is one of the popular juke moves that everybody uses where it's kind of a glitchy speed boost. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'm assuming that's what they mean. They also did tuning to reduce fumble chance for wide receivers playing in the halfback position. In playbook packages where wide receiver is intentionally placed at the halfback position, such as those found in the 49ers and Rams playbooks, the risk of fumbling was too high. Playing out of position will still carry a higher fumble chance than not, but it will no longer be as significant of a risk on these real life playbook packages utilizing players like 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel. They did tuning to cover 4 quarter cornerbacks to better cover outside streak routes and trips formations, fixed an issue causing receivers to sometimes step out of the back of the end zone while running their route, leading to illegal touching penalties, tuning to give elite receivers more separation versus defensive backs in man press, tuning to better conserve momentum of wide receivers during mid-air collisions with defensive backs. Now all that's fine right there, but the one that is the most significant I think is the elite wide receivers creating more separation in man press. We know man coverage is actually very OP right now, but to me it's not really so much man press. I feel like off man coverage is actually better than man press. So if somebody presses, I feel like it's already kind of easy to beat, but now it sounds like the elite receivers like Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, they'll be able to significantly win off the line and maybe get wide open, who knows. They fixed an issue allowing halfback wheel routes to be cover 1 man coverage too frequently. They did tuning to reduce the catch chance on tipped passes. That's a huge one. The catches on tipped passes were just out of control. The SWAT button almost seemed useless because the receiver would always catch the tip. They did tuning to make AI QBs target user-controlled cornerbacks and linebackers more often in face of the franchise player-locked gameplay. They updated nickel alignment positions in the nickel and dime cover 2 man plays versus bunch formation, and they updated the Detroit Lions NFL Live playbook to be a 4-3 defense playbook and added 3-4-3 formations to the Lions default defense playbook. All in all, for the gameplay updates, some of that stuff sounds good if the offensive line actually performs better. I like that they're at least trying to address the situation that clearly is a problem. It's probably the one main area of the game. To me, gameplay wise, it's bad. The rest of it, I think, this is actually a pretty decent gameplay Madden so far. The O-line is just so bad that it kind of overshadows it, so we'll see if it gets any better. Now let's jump into the franchise updates. They fixed an issue where user-to-user trades in online leagues were not working. They fixed an issue where CPU teams were not correctly using the franchise tag. While significantly improved, there will be rare instances where players right below what is perceived as elite will be tagged. Those are definitely two big issues, especially the trading issue. That was just really messing up online leagues, which is one of the few areas of Madden that is actually good. Online CFM, Madden probably does better than the other sports games, but the fact that the trades weren't working, I mean, you really couldn't play. They tuned QB simulation stats to reduce the number of plays run in games to lower overall player and team stats league-wide. Tuned QB regression. We noticed that as seasons progress, there will be far too many highly rated QBs in the league when compared to the base rosters. To combat this, we slightly increased QB regression as they got older. This paired with QB sim stats tuning should result in a distribution similar to base rosters as you get deeper into the franchise. Tuned contract acceptance factor/rates. This tune was to address some edge case exploits. This should not have a major impact on re-sign or free agency in general. Fixed an issue where the free agency offer bars were displaying out of order. Fixed an issue where sections of the free agency offer bar would sometimes appear white. Fixed an issue where the free agency offer bars would sometimes not display after offering a contract. Fixed an issue where injured players were sometimes being included in trade packages. Fixed an issue where completed goals were appearing as incomplete. Fixed an issue where the reorder pop-up would stay on screen after reordering prospects on your favorite list. Fixed a crash when attempting to withdraw an offer during re-sign. Fixed an issue where users were unable to send past the 2051 Pro Bowl. Fixed an issue where if a commissioner advanced the week at the same time as a user joined, the commissioner would be locked out and the newly joined user would be able to advance the league. So it sounds like franchise had a lot of issues that were hopefully cleared up. There are probably still some more that I'm sure they haven't addressed yet, so let me know below if there's still things that are not working. Face of the franchise update. So up on the screen here, I will have all of the face of the franchise updates. It's a few bullet points. It just looked like they fixed a bunch of issues. I'm not seeing any of the crazy issues that I heard of, like some people not being able to play their second season or re-sign a second contract. I'm not seeing anything about that here. This just seems like a bunch of little kind of one-off issues that most people probably weren't dealing with too much, but they're up on the screen if you want to read them. They also did some Madden Ultimate Team issue updates as well, which are on the screen right here. Much like face of the franchise, these are just little bugs, nothing that's too crazy. They still have not addressed the fact that the competitive field pass has not given out the rewards to people that has earned them yet. That's the biggest thing people are waiting for. Most people don't really care about stuff like this, but these are the fixes that they did add. Now, there was a bunch of authenticity and player likeness updates that I'm gonna cover in a follow-up video, but most of the new alternate helmets are in the game, not every single one, of course. Typical EA, we weren't gonna get them all, but we got most of them. So I'll show all of that stuff in a second video, but the ones that have been added to the game are the Texans, the Saints, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Bengals, the Panthers, and the Giants. It said the 3 remaining teams with new alternate helmets, the Cowboys, the Jets, and the Eagles, will be included in an upcoming title update. The only reason I could think that they're not all done yet is something to do with the NFL, because like we learned not that long ago, the NFL wouldn't even allow them to create them in the game until very recently. So that's probably why they don't have them all done yet. But again, I don't really know how hard it is to do stuff like that. So they got most of them done. There's still a few that aren't there. So I know the fans of those teams probably aren't going to be too happy. They also added a bunch of presentation and UI updates, which really looks like they just fixed a bunch of weird issues. I'm popping those up on the screen right now if you want to pause it and read it. But one of the biggest ones here that I have seen complained about is it says they fixed an issue where players were wearing helmets in the Super Bowl trophy celebration shots. Now, a lot of these other issues here to me are just little things. Some of these things I've never even seen in the game, but I'm sure other people have. If you want to read it, it's up on the screen right now. Make sure to be subscribed for the follow-up video where I break down all the other stuff that came in the update. And if you want to know the latest news about the upcoming NCAA football game that we just found out, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.